Brad, you chose to just play the 22 players, is that right? Is that what was it, just trying to simulate a real game?
Yeah, we always intended for this last one to be as close as possible to round one, and even though we had the opportunity to bring three players on at half time, we chose not to, just because we wanted to get a decent conditioning effort and not get a surprise round one. So it's easy to bring someone in fresh and maybe get a false sense of security in terms of your fitness. So it costs a little bit because the boys were out on their feet a little bit there, but it was relatively warm conditions for us, and but I was pleased with the endeavour in the second half for sure.
Just a good result for you, Brad. You've had a couple of wins and just a nice bit of confidence and momentum heading into a big round one clash against Essendon.
Yeah, it's always difficult to read too much into these games. I mean, you do have slightly different priorities, and you have things that you prioritise over other things, conditioning being one rather than system or structure. So but I mean, when you play a competitive game, you like to win it. So from that side of things, it was pleasing, particularly given the quality of the opposition.
Sure. Anthony and Judd, I mean, things like that, obviously you must be pretty happy with them.
Look, his football education continues. He's Liam's trained as a defender all pre-season, and we've worked hard on teaching him the defensive side of the game, and he's really improving that area. We think he can be a really good player for us and a complete player if he gets that right.
How much of a jump, Brad, is it? I suppose going back to the 22 and back to the substitute rule this round compared to the NAB Cup, is it massive fitness-wise?
It is, because you get the combination. I mean, I came down the boundary line. We didn't have a clock for how long was left, but I came down the boundary line in the first quarter at about the 27-minute mark, and the quarter went for about 33 minutes. So I was just standing there like a statue for 6 minutes on the boundary line first quarter. So you got the combination of the games going about 10 minutes longer a quarter, and then a fair few less players. So we didn't want to get that shock in round one. We wanted to get it this week, which is good.
You got quite a few goals out the back of their zone. Do you think that teams are just getting better and better all the time at working through presses? It's almost like it's not redundant because everyone's playing it, but teams are just working through it really well. Yeah,
I think that after a while, sides who practice certain things, they also practice against it. So, I think sides will generally get better, but one thing I know, footy won't look the same in 6 months' time as it looks right now. So it'll continue to evolve. We know that. We've worked on some things that in the direction we think the game's going. So, but I think the most pleasing thing from our perspective today was that we defended a lot better. We got really comprehensively outplayed around the stoppages, but we were able to defend that okay. So to win a game when you get hammered in the stoppages like that, last week we got hammered in contested ball. So we've clearly still got a lot of areas to work on.
What about some of the kids, Brad? I thought Kieran Harper fantastic today. Jamie Millen seems to keep getting better and better as well.
Yeah, every game like this is so valuable for them. You're right, Kieran Harper and Jamie McMillan were terrific today. When Levi Greenwood's out of the side and Jack Siebel wasn't out there today, so Lockie Hansen wasn't out there. So there are a few guys missing. But we look at Kieran Harper, he's played 13 games. Jamie McMillan, I think, has played 9. So they're still young players. So to play against that quality opposition in a full-scale AFL game in terms of length and rules and all those sort of things is invaluable.
Who will you get back for round one?
Well, we've got a few selection headaches really. The only one Nathan Grimer thinks he'll be fit. Whether I think he's fit or not, it's a different story. But he always declares himself fit to play. We won't have Jack Siebel suspended, but it won't be through injury that we don't have anyone to come back. It'll be more through selection. So we've got a number of players who'll actually play next week in preparation for round one. They had this weekend off.
We toss around what all the pre-season games mean. In a hypothetical that you were 0-5, and I'm talking about Carlton here, would you be concerned at that? Would you be worried if you hadn't won a game, sort of from a momentum point of view?
It's very difficult for me to comment on that because I'm not sure as to their strategy in the pre-season, but I know that sides have different strategies and different priorities going into the pre-season. Ours has been working out what our best 22 is. We don't have the luxury of just resting players or getting them right. We've really been trying to take this opportunity to get game time into players. They've been auditioning for spots. So I can't speak to Carlton, but I do know they're a quality side. So you just have to look through their playing list and they'll be okay.
Just a word on Drew Petrie's performance. Someone asked him, a hell of a lot different to 12 months ago, 24 months ago, this stage of the pre-season. It's good signs for you, Blakes.
Yeah, it is, but I think that what every coach I think is looking for is a spread of goal kickers, and one week it's going to be one player, and hopefully the next week it'll be another. I thought Robbie Tarrant did some terrific work in terms of just working in a position and getting Drew isolated. So Hamish provided a good target for us as well, which brought our smaller forwards into the game as well. So we think that we've got Aaron Edwards in that mix as well. A lot of different options, but from week to week, one player will probably kick more than the other.
Yeah. Andrew Swallow copped a pretty heavy knock in the last quarter. Obviously came back on. I assume he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay. He doesn't look okay, but looks to have a broken nose to me. But he'll be very disappointed about that. His wife Elise will be more disappointed though.
Zeebel's, the fact he didn't play Zeebel, was that just a choice, a minute game time situation?
Yeah, again, he's on a different program because he's not available till round 3 due to suspension. So, we wanted to take this opportunity to get some AFL type game time into players who are going to be available round 1 and 2.
Lee Adams came off as well, I think, late in the last quarter. Did he get a bit of a knock to the hand, or?
Oh, he always gets knocked around a little bit, Patch. He's okay. I just spoke to him before. He's fine.
You didn't have any injuries out of this one?
No.
That's what I got his
Perfect practice game. Yeah. All right.